Welcome to this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. I'm your host, Lia Chang. Today, I'm taking you inside the 46th Annual Asian American International Film Festival. Asian Cinevision's 46th Asian American International Film Festival screened the New York premiere of Caylee So's The Harvest at the Quad Cinema on July 29th. Written by and starring Doua, the cast also features Perry Young, Don Ying Yuen, Krishna Chor, Christine Lin, and more. The film has been playing festivals around the country, and I had a chance to sit down with Perry, director Caylee So, and producer, writer, and star Doua. The Harvest is also produced by John Houselog with executive producer Yosun An and Money Vang.
Your great son is back.
Oh, you're a handsome man now.
How you came home?
Yeah, it's been a while.
How was life in the Bay?
It's hard writing and working at the same time. You?
You're not new here, man. You know, everyone's just doing the usual. Getting married, dropping babies left and right.
Do you have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Is she mom?
Yeah, Ty. Is she mom?
I mean, our parents turned out okay.
Yeah. Miserable, suffocating, and loveless marriage.
Aiyah, you old man. But you only know how to lecture, but you don't know how to listen.
Dr. Williams and I are a little frustrated with your father, Ty.
We're crossing fingers for a match, but if he refuses treatment, he might be deemed as non-compliant.
You know you and Dad are sort of alike, right? You're both so stubborn.
Take medicine. Don't eat this, don't eat that. What good does it do if I can't do what I want?
You don't know how to walk in anyone else's shoes but your own.
We feel it's time for you to step up.
But I have a life in San Francisco.
You both have no problem using others for whatever you want.
That's how you see me.
Dad, I don't want to talk about it!
Real love is defined by the sacrifices that we make. It's a choice. It's not an obligation.
Don't you want to make your family proud?
Hi everyone, my name is Caylee So. I am the director of The Harvest.
My name is Doua. I'm the writer, actor, and one of the producers of the film The Harvest.
I'm Perry Young, and I played the father's chair in The Harvest.
So I'm going to ask you some questions, and any of you can answer them. But the first thing I'd like to know is, what inspired you to write this film?
After shooting Gran Torino, I was, as an actor, you kind of wonder, like, when's your next role? So I kind of, like, sat on that and, like, realized that there's not another particularly Hmong film, for me to act in. Because during that time, we don't have Crazy Rich Asians, so Asian wasn't hot at that moment. It wasn't a commodity. So I just kind of, I was living in New York here, and I was going through a time period where my father had renal failure, and basically I started dwindling and writing this script about this father-son relationship, and from there kind of like continue like editing and writing that story. So.
And how long did it take for you to go from page to screen?
Now I think 11, 12 years to this point. Yeah, because the film was greenlit and then wasn't lit again. Mm-hmm. And it was just this whole process of different producers wanted to change the ethnicity of the family, to different ethnicity or different Asian ethnicity. So it's just kind of like this back and forth of like, this is my baby, I need to keep it authentic to the Hmong culture. So that kind of like made it a little bit tough because coming from a producer standpoint, you understand that you want a film to be more marketable for the vast audience, right?
Sure.
So that plays a big factor of why it took this long to get this film made. So.
And how did you and Caylee connect?
I tried to connect her. I DM'd her.
Slipped into my Facebook DMs.
Ah.
But the story was about 10 years prior.
Caylee, do you want to take the mic?
11 years prior, I believe that Ellen Wong was supposed to play your sister.
Yeah.
And Ellen Wong was in my film In the Life of Music, my first feature film, and that's how Doua found me, through the friendship connection. And he said, hey, here's another Southeast Asian director, and he contacted me through Facebook, and then we just had a conversation, and it just took off from there. Yeah.
It took like 2 months to like have her like contact me though. She thought I was like a stranger trying to like DM her.
And were you both living in the same city at the time?
Yeah. He's in LA and I'm in Long Beach, so
Close enough.
not far.
You're
Yeah,
in the same state.
Yeah.
You're in the same part of Southern California.
I did throw down some Long Beach knowledge for Doua though.
I literally thought Long Beach was in San Diego for the longest time. And she was like, you want to come down to Long Beach? I was like, 2 hours? Sure. And I drove to her house. It was like 30 minutes to like, even less than that, depending on traffic. So.
Right. Now, I happened to be with Perry when he was coming out to shoot with you. And I'd like to know how, besides being an amazing actor, what it was that drew you to cast Perry in the role of technically your father.
The thing is just his demeanor. I mean, like, he's also a great actor, and like I've been such a big fan of him, you know, and that's one of the big things for me was like being a fan of him, and also like, and it comes down to like this collaboration from Caylee and me, from the producer standpoint, with Caylee is saying, "What about Perry?" You know, and Caylee's just like.
No, I'm not going to bleep that one. But no, I was a huge fan of Warrior at that time, and I just remember Perry's name come up, and I saw that he was Father John on Warrior, and I thought, oh, hire him. He's going to be great. He already has such a deep understanding of complex fathers. You know, and so for me, I was just like, this is another father that's super complex. I think he can do this, and I don't need an audition, just hire him. Yeah.
And fortunately, he was available because he works so much, and B, he's been spending so much time in South Africa shooting Warrior.
Yeah. No, but again, I DM'd Perry too. So I was like, hey, Perry, you know, this is a script. I mean, yes, I was kind of being modest, like, hey, you want to read it? You know, let me know if you like it. You want to hop on? And, you know, short after, he's like, let's do it. So.
Now, Perry, what was your first reaction to the script?
Well, I mean, Facebook is a really funny thing, right? You know, you get DMs and you're like, who is this person? You know, and I do get DMs from these people who say, hey, I got the script, you know, and what do you think? And a lot of them are, you know, first-time filmmakers, and you want to give them a chance, you know, but then you just kind of go, okay, it's just kind of like, it's something you don't want to get into because, you know, it's just going to be a hot mess. But I know of Doua's work. You know, I saw him in Gran Torino years ago, and I went, this will be the second Hmong film ever made, you know, from Gran Torino to this. Of course I'm going to be in it. And once I looked at the script, it was like the best role I've ever seen for an Asian father. For an Asian man my age, I'm like, oh my God, this is gold. Of course I'm going to do this. So, and you know, you were with me at the time, and you know, just a personal story between you and I. We were talking with your friend about doing his musical.
Right.
And I auditioned for the musical, and I was literally gonna go do the musical until I heard from you, and you were like, well, "Do you want to do this film?" And it was such a hard thing because the musical is an amazing musical, also.
And a father that you really would have made the difference.
Totally understand the story. I wanted to be in it and everything. And I was like, okay, I'm at a place where this kind of stuff, this kind of luck happens, you know, because it took me like, you know, 30 years to be in a position where luck like that happens. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I had to say no to your friend because I really, at this moment.
We still.
It's not
always a possibility.
It's going to go on.
A possibility.
There's another life. There's a life there too,
still,
right?
Yeah,
yes,
we're looking for a region. It's for Gold Mountain,
right.
Jason Ma's Gold Mountain, and we're looking for a regional house. So there's always a possibility that Perry will not be working on another film or TV project and come and do this.
And I worked with Jason in 1992 with Pan Asian Rep in Cambodia, Agonices. We toured to South Africa, Egypt, Cairo, out through the U.S. And Jason's a wonderful, lovely human being, and so that's why it was really hard to give up these things, But at the same time, it's such a privileged place to be, and I think it's such The Harvest is such a magical film. Yes.
Now, you made your world premiere at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, quite a prestigious film festival for you to be making it, and it's been very successful at film festivals across the country. How have audiences been reacting, and what do you hope audiences in New York tonight will take away from your film?
I mean, the audience enjoyed the film, loved the film, and the beautiful part about this film is like they relate to the film, and for me, it's for them to just take away from taking a second to understand the different dynamic in our family and different cultures' family, ethnicities' family, and to start having those honest conversation with themselves and with their family about how to navigate through the massive interracial, generational gaps between each other.
Yeah, I think a lot of people went into it into the film thinking, okay, like this is another just conflicted family, but they came out of it feeling like somehow they can relate to every single character, and I think that's like an ensemble. Like it was a magical ensemble. And I get all these feedbacks about how they appreciated that the father character had so much depth, and the son and the daughter and the mother, like everyone you can relate to. Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the other big thing was, a lot of people watched this film, and while watching it, felt like they saw this film before, and when they come back and they're like, no, that was actually like a slice of my life, and that was the beautiful thing.
How does that make you feel?
Feels great, where I could.
Because you really have poured your heart and soul and life into the script.
Yeah.
So for someone to have it resonate with them in that capacity must be extraordinary.
Yeah, especially having it being told to switch a different ethnicity and fought for it so long, and
we all know that.
Yeah, so that for me was okay, it was worth fighting for, and the thing is that really comes down to the collaboration with, Caylee, Perry, Don, Krishna, my producing partner John, and even the DP and the PD and everyone come together and say, this is a piece that we're gonna work on it as a family, and and whoever comes out of it. So that's the beautiful for me.
My favorite audience comment was, I didn't want to be touched that way, but I was. And, and then I had to apologize.
That's funny. Now, where were you born and raised?
I was born in the refugee camp in Thailand, and surprisingly, Caylee was too.
Yeah.
And so we were both born in the refugee camp of Thailand, and I was raised in Minnesota, and then came to New York for school, and then studied acting out here, and from there went out to LA. So
our industry is under attack, and while the writers were striking and we were in solidarity with the writers, now we're on strike. SAG-AFTRA is on strike, and that's been a very tricky road to navigate as far as promoting shows, TV, film, etc. How are you navigating it?
That's a great question, Lia. So we need to differentiate between the Alliance of Motion Picture Television Producers and independent filmmakers, right? So The Harvest is an independent film, and the Asian American Film Festival is an independent film festival that operates outside the studio system. So these are people who are making art from their heart, presenting it to our communities. Television and Hollywood is a different story. It's like basically money. It's about money, and people, the CEOs are working for the AMPTP just to make money for the shareholders. That's a very different game of presenting art than us artists telling our stories. So what we can do is look at, we can promote our film festivals, our independent film festivals as SAG actors, as people who are union actors and writers. We can promote our own projects that are outside of the studio system. So I'm happy to promote the Asian American International Film Festival and our film, The Harvest, because we exist as a solo artist entity telling our stories to our community. So we just need to differentiate that. We don't make money like Hollywood actors do. One of the biggest misconceptions is that people see us on television, we're well off. But the fact is 90% of SAG actors can't actually make their $26,000 minimum to qualify for health insurance.
Oh my God, I can't remember the last time I had health insurance from SAG after. It was a long time ago when I had several commercials running, but I would never have had it from film or TV.
Yeah.
Never.
Right. So the actors that you actually recognize and see with a name, those are actors that are maybe surviving. They may be the 5% of SAG-AFTRA actors. And they are showing up.
Is it even 5?
It might not even be 5%.
2%
It might be 2%. Those actors you see on TV shows that are long running, they are the 2% of actors, and the A-listers are less than 1%. So you have 97% of SAG members of our union that are unemployed. So the actors that you see that are striking, that are walking on the picket line, are picketing for the 97% of us and the background actors who have no power. So those of you who are criticizing them, saying, oh, just realize that they are actually there for the community. And those CEOs, they can use less yachts.
Yeah, and we really want to thank Asian Cinevision and Asian American International Film Festival for championing The Harvest, and film like this, because without these film festivals, we won't have opportunity to give a voice for our narrative, so that's the beautiful thing about festivals like this.
To give a voice and be seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my last question, and we're going to start with Caylee, and we're just going to work down the line, is what does it mean for you to be an Asian American creator in this time?
Oh, yeah. I think our village just got bigger, and our stories, we're realizing now that everybody can have their stories heard. We can write our own stuff, we can produce our own stuff. There's systems now, and there's a creative community out there to support each other. And I'm here for it. I mean, I enjoy watching movies like The Joyride come out and things like that, and shows like Warrior. I mean, it's a great time to be a filmmaker right now. I mean, 15, 20 years ago, I didn't see any of this growing up. And now to see like myself reflected on screen and to be part of that storytelling element, it's a great thing.
To be seen as human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, to be a writer and an actor who has the ability to be part of a project that shows the complexity of the Asian family, Asian characters, and that we're not just the Chinese delivery man, or we're just not the best friend, that we're just not the afterthought, that right now at this time is we're able to play a deep in thought son or father or complex mother or daughter or the complex friend that slept with their boyfriend or husband or whatever not, more complexity with these characters, I think that's the beautiful part for Asian creatives right now, is having a voice and having the ability to write projects, and like The Cleaners and, so forth. And that's a beautiful thing about being an Asian creative now, so.
100% what these two said. And on top of that, we just saw an Asian American film win an Oscar, right? Yeah. And I never thought in my lifetime that I would see that.
She just got married.
I saw
And she got married.
Yeah. For Oscar.
Michelle Yeoh.
What a charmed life
Yeah,
she lives.
it took winning an Oscar for her to get married. No, but I never thought I'd see that in my lifetime. Literally, when I started acting, I dropped out because there were no roles for us, right, in the 90s. And seeing an Asian American production with Asian American directors and actors, and when Ke Huy Quan made his speech and said, "Mom, I won an Oscar," I cried, you know, right? I mean, I think every Asian American AAPI, NH was, right? And those eyeballs in the film were crying. So we're at a moment where we've seen an enormous shift in culture, a big paradigm shift. And I think, representation is a huge part of what I do, ever since the beginning. And because of the pandemic, I saw it more important than ever, especially when our former president can put a target on our backs simply by blaming us for the virus, and seeing the rise in anti-Asian hate and violence against our community and our elders. I thought, how can we fight against that? Who is saying something to counter that kind of violent rhetoric upon our community? And it's the storytellers. Yeah. We have to combat that, right? I mean, we need politicians to write the bills and legislation to put Asian American studies into K-12 education and in college education. But storytellers can change the fabric of our culture, and we do that, So that is where I am right now, and I'm so happy to be doing that with Caylee and Doua in this film, The Harvest, which is doing that. It's making a new thread in the fabric of our society.
How exciting. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it.
We're excited to see it.
I'm excited for New York City to see it. I mean,
I think it will resonate with a lot of the New York City kids and people that moved out here and immigrant out here. Because the thing is, when I first moved out here, you feel so lost, and when you go home, like you found this new enlightenment, exploring a new city and exploring different culture, and coming back home is trying to figure out where do you fit again. I think a lot of the kids and the audience, the New York State audience, will definitely resonate with this film, and so I hope we'll just continue on. So
thank you for joining me for this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. We'll see you at the theater. Bye.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lia Chang, and I'm at the Asian American International Film Festival. We've just seen The Harvest.
We don't get to see this kind of Asian American family drama.
How do you feel?
It's so real.
Every character in that film is so complex, right? The performances were really moving.
I'm already at tears because there were so many moments that I felt I was triggered.
I just think it's a human story.
I think it's universal.
It is very universal.
I love the film. It's one story and many stories to be told.
I love the relationship dynamics between the father and the son.
It reminded me of my family, even though I'm from a different cultural background.
There are so many things that people don't see of our community.
The script is so deep and so multi-layered.
Did you cry?
It gets me. I teared up, for sure. I teared up.
If you want to see a beautiful representation of a complicated but nuanced family.
And this film it's for us.
It is for us.
Yes.
For my next episode of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang, I'm taking a road trip with Susan Murakoshi to see Lauren Yee's Cambodian rock band at Arena Stage in Washington, D.C. The cast stars Francis Ju, Joe No, Brooke Ishibashi, Tim Liu, Jane Lui, and Abraham Kim, and is directed by Che Yu. Then we're headed to Malvern, Pennsylvania for the opening performance of Sam Shepard's True West, directed by Mayan Tao and starring Sanjit de Silva, Ron Domingo, Greg Watanabe, and Ching Valdes-Aran.
There's going to be a general lack of toast in the neighborhood. faces. I'm gonna have somebody coming by here later, Lee. You ready for it? No. I'll produce it. Aha! Convince him it's a worthwhile story. He's not convinced. What's he coming by here if he's not convinced? I'll convince him for you. You don't understand the way things worked out here.
Why don't you tell the story to Austin and have him write a little outline?
So you take a look at it then?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna read through, always eager for new material.
That's great. He's a good 50 miles from the border. Now, a lot can happen in 50 miles. Okay, well, we're just writing an outline. It's not an entire screenplay. Well, you can't leave things out even if it is an outline. So it was the first authentic Western to come along in a decade. You like that story? Your story? Yeah, what's the matter with that? It's stupid. Story? Hey, hold on! Nobody can disappear. The old man tried that. Look where it got him. He lost his teeth. He never had any money. No, I don't mean that. I mean his teeth. His real teeth. First he lost his real teeth, then he lost his false teeth. Oh, you didn't know that, did you? He never confided in you. Huh?
Oh, well, one last thing to take care of, I guess. Oh, that reminds me. You boys probably will never guess who's in town. Try and guess.
Picasso's dead, bro.
No, he's not dead. He's visiting the museum. I read it on the bus. You must go out there and meet him.
No, Mom. Here's the matter with that. What you don't know is that each one of them is afraid. Each one of them separately thinks that he's the only one that's afraid. And keep riding like that, straight into the night, not knowing. The one that's chasing doesn't know where the other one's taking. And the one who's being chased doesn't know where it's going.
Thank you for joining me for this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. Until next time.